Hey kids, so hope you all enjoy this video. Sorry the Creepypasta video won't come out anytime soon, so enjoy this video as we wait. Time to get on the video, huh? So, do you all have distant memory of things that could be movies, some creepy scenes, creepy gifs, or hell, even music that's just plain weird?
My name is eRoRr Rogers, and
Sorry, Rogers, gotta wait another year to cover you. Also, well, I have something called games that stay in my mind. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, usually, most games, or more specifically, independent or indie games, will be played for about a week, and everyone will be talking about it, and they usually will die down about 6 or 7, 6, 7, get it? And then they'll be forgotten about, weekly 15 minutes of fame. And then forgotten about it until some random person on Twitter will be like, "Yes, you all remember Deltarune? Remember how good it is? Yeah, really good, yeah, it sucks, all the newer ones suck." Now, unless you got specific games like Minecraft or Fnaf, which, even though they're called independent, I don't think they should count as indie anymore since they're making billions and have movies made, and are, honestly, milked until the tit makes blood, and unlike these ones that have been forgotten in time. And we're about to get into our first one about right now. Oh, the very organized thief. I would genuinely be surprised if anyone remembers this game. Now, this game was released on November 9th, 2013, 12 years ago. Damn. Made by Redefined Games, a stealth horror game? I'm not really sure. Now, the reason why I call it a, quote, horror game is because it gives off the best way I can describe it gives off the same vibe as the Backrooms. Well, no, not that type, but the original image before becoming a place where you can see, I don't know, tra-la in there. And also, it gives the same vibe as those old Gary's Mod maps like GM Construct and GM Big Cities, and other multiplayer maps where you have a sense of dread and loneliness of seeing something that was once so populated, like a gold mine town, but now has turned into a ghost town. Oh, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, that's right, very organized thief. Now, the gameplay is that you walk around this liminal space house, and you have a list of things you need to borrow. And don't worry, it's not the Epstein list. And also, when you're walking around, you'll hear this clock ticking. We'll talk about that in a bit. So, when you're walking around, you'll find safes and locked doors and cabinets around the house. You can find keys and codes for the safe. And if you fail the code or take too long, then the clock will ding, and that means the homeowner is home, and the stealth begins. Now you need to collect everything without him noticing, and if you make too many noises, he will come and check it out. Or if you just fail the safe, and once he spots you, you just need to run and try to fight him and stun him like a Resident Evil pursuer. And if he kills you, well, what do you think happens? Game over. Also, fun fact, on Halloween, the homeowner will be the Grim Reaper, and on Christmas, the place will be dressed up for Christmas, and on Easter, he'll be an Easter bunny, and on an Australian day, you'll be a kangaroo. Now let's get him behind the scenes. Released in November 2019, got the attention of Markiplier, Jacksepticeye,
stumble into furry
PewDiePie,
What a fucking
and DenTDM.
So, Dr. Trainier!
Oh, and a fluffin' fox. Meanwhile, my lazy-ass dog's too busy sleeping all day, not paying taxes, god dang it. And it got constant updates in 2014. They started a Kickstarter and a Steam Greenlight page. I'm sure it'll come out in the second quarter of 2015, 10 years later. Now, in 2019, there was an update talking about the homeowner. Now, in 2020, they said that the game was the only site to play it. And then, nothing. Until 2 years ago, where they said this on their YouTube channel. For anyone who is still checking in to see if we're working on the very organized thief in 2023, we are. It's been a long journey, but we're getting there. But it's getting there, I mean. And that's all I can say, since there's nothing more. But maybe someday we'll release, and probably around GTA 7's release. And hopefully, hey, at least for this one, you can still play its demo on like our next one. Toybox was a 2016 or 17 horror game. Not much is known about the development, since the game page was deleted some time ago, and most of the archives don't work or as dead dreams. Now, this game is a lot like Dark Deception. Also, speaking of Dark Deception, whatever happened to that game? Did it just die, or they just stopped working on the main game and make spin-offs? Let's get back on track. So, basically, this game has a story, surprisingly, and it's about missing kids. Sounds familiar. This game was made long before people went apeshit over how generic mascot horror games always have missing kids, and how Garten of Banban was the death of horror, and how it was now okay to send death threats to these two young students who wanted to make a free game and a little bit of money from a free game. Show my refund receipt, make an alt account, and repaid. But that's a whole topic for a different video. Maybe someday I'll make. Now, in this game, judging from the footage, you just run around in a maze, freeze these little mogwai-looking guys, and collect these crystals while you're avoiding these monsters. It looks like, I forget what they're called, it looks like a type of mint or candy. I'm going off script. If I remember what they're called, I'll show it on screen. And once you're done that, you're free. And also you have to free all the little gremlin guys with keys. Once you've done that, you win. And that's all really I can say about the gameplay. Now, development probably started around 2015 or 16, made by Harley XD as their second game, right next to this Lost game that only has one gameplay on YouTube. Later, Toybox was played by Markiplier, Corey, and The Orange. And later, this game was renamed the Toybox Unleashed. Then these teasers were released, and it got cancelled since the game page was deleted, and the developer has basically left the internet. Maybe someday it will come out. Well, who knows? But time for our next one. Chicken was released on April 1st, 2016 on Steam, but was being made way before that in 2015. So this game was basically just Minecraft, but instead of building blocks, you still use blocks, instead not to build. Instead you make a creature, and then make your inbred-looking abomination to life. Now there are two game modes, just like Minecraft, a creative mode and a survival called adventure mode. So yeah, this game was basically Spore mixed with Minecraft in a nutshell, if anyone knows what Spore is. Now, you can make these creatures do all sorts of stuff, like for food, to breed them like livestock, or help you, or keep them like a pet, or hell, you can even make them hunt. And this game also had multiplayer, just like Minecraft. Now, I think that's all I can really say, since it's like Minecraft, like giving you the plot of Minecraft, there's really not much I can add. So, you should experience yourself. In fact, there is game page to this in the description if you have Steam or any sort of computer. Now, let's talk about the development. Made by Catapult in 2015, probably as a competitor to Minecraft, was played by such people such as Danny Boy, Jacksepticeye, and the Vanoss Gaming Crew. And that's really it. Afterwards, in 2019, they said the game was put on hiatus because of technical issues. And then in 2023, they made the game free to play and basically abandoned it. You know, it sucks that they abandoned it. Also, take this with a grain of salt. But I heard that the main developer passed away in a car accident on one of the Steam comments. I'm not too sure if it's true or not, so take it with a massive grain of salt. Which, it's unfortunate, everything about it. The game had a potential to be the next Minecraft. In fact, I can't really name one big Minecraft competitor. Well, other than Terraria, and maybe Gary's Mod or Roblox, but I really never counted those two as Minecrafty-like games. Well, time for our next one, since that's really all I can say.
I am so deeply sorry to interrupt the video, but you know that most of you aren't subscribed to the channel and haven't even clicked the like button yet. Yes, you should. Can you please like the button to make your dear old Nicholas happy? Like I just say, time to go back to the video. See ya.
Social Interaction Trainer was a flash game made for the competition Indies vs. PewDiePie, which was a competition that was a game jam held in November of 2014 and was meant to be fun to play and fun to watch. Unfortunately, the game didn't win. Also, I really can't find anything else about that game, that competition, and yeah. Now, made by Pigpen as his most famous game, right next to his two more infamous games. I'll talk about those at the end. So this game is basically what you need to do is well, just talking to people and just looking them in the eyes. So, like, okay, so the first level, you have to buy stuff from the store. You have to make eye contact with this cashier. After that, you have to go pee and not glance at this guy's big veiny odd dick piercing. No joke. When I was like 5, I accidentally glanced at someone with the urinal and saw a dim piercing with 3 metal balls coming out of it. Looked like some type of saw trap. Now, after that, you will get a girlfriend. Then, after that, you go on a date. 2 dates on with her. Now, I wonder what the third one's gonna be. Oh. Now, I'm not gonna try to show this since I think you all know what's happening, even though it doesn't really show anything other than the woman's nipples. But I think you all know what happened. Now, after that, after you make sweet love, you listen to Patrick Bateman and get a job. After that, you meet the parents. Become friends with the dad and the mom. Also, you have to glance at the dog from time to time. After that, you have a work meeting. Don't say, don't tell. Now, remember that guy from the urinal and the second date? Well, guess what? You have to become friends with him and I have to mention the big tits woman. Okay. Alright, so don't get too horny, guys. There's no, Cletus scene. Now, after you stare at the cleavage and you're meant to stare at him and just stare at the cleavage and look at her eyes after when she looks at you. So yeah, basically become a pervert. After that, your boss dies. After that, you have to go to his funeral. And your wife's belly has gotten a bit bigger since you last saw her. Now you finally have to buy diapers. Oh, I guarantee he's one of those weirdos into diaper. Oh, just kidding. You have a bundle of joy. Now, there are one other version of the game. Wait, no, there are other versions of the game, shit. Now, there was a Steam version and an itch.io version and a free version. Now, the Steam version has been taken out a long time ago, and you can only buy the itch.io version. And, I think there's a scene where you and your friend and wife film a very, very naughty movie, if you all get what I'm trying to say. Ooh, freaky.
Pornography.
Also, quick question. Do you do it off screen? Because previously you had to buy rubber. Then that prevents a girl from getting pregnant. Or do you poke a hole through it? But doesn't that count as... Or am I thinking way too much into this big tits eye game? Now, also, if you pick Japanese option on the menu, all the women's will have their cleavage exposed. And Australians, if you pick Australian, they will call you a dumb cunt every time you lose. Also, remember the Steam version? Yeah, it was taken down, I already mentioned it. I couldn't find a reason. And of course, this game was played by people like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, FGTV! Oh, we had to go into Creepypasta territory here, because it's a lost episode. While promoting their new game, Max at Midnight, in 2016, they played the game, and Chase, who had the birthday on the same day, threw up during the no-no scene. Also, did you know that FGTV had a show called Max at Midnight, and the first episode completely lost, which is so weird because it had so millions of views. I totally did not add this segment in as just an excuse to talk about it. Oh yeah, and the game had a sequel. Oh yeah, and also I recommend this documentary on the dev and his 2 more infamous games, since I don't want to risk talking about it. Now to our next one. Now, if all of you remember near the end of the Nightblight section of the early days of Mascot Horror, I briefly showed some gameplay of this game with other games I'll cover in this video. Also, if you haven't already, I recommend watching that video. It's probably will show up in the corner about or out now. Also, if you also watched me during 2023, the Dark Ages, I played this game on the channel when it was still a Let's Play channel, kinda. Now, Tess is a 2014 run-and-gun platform made by Guraka Chizer. The game was made in the same engine as the second best version of Minecraft, also known as Java Edition. Now, this game begins with you waking up feeling depressed as always and wanting to talk to your sister. And you get a letter from your friend, Millie, and who tells you to meet her at the top of a mountain. Now you do go outside, something that 99% of the Ultra Kill fans haven't done in the last 10 years, and you have to fight these slime balls. Also, you have a shotgun. No, a pistol, I mean. I hate going off script. Now, I feel like if this game was released in 2017, I bet it would have had a 1930s art style, because I wonder what game influenced Running Gun today. Also, you will come across these flowers that will shoot at you. Also, don't land on those shrubs. Now, you will find your brother, and he will tell you that that it was a bad day yesterday. And also, the soundtrack is amazing. I genuinely recommend listening to it. It's playing in the background already, and it reminds me when I was a young lad. And after you meet your brother, you scale the buildings, and you have to fight off these bugs. And then you meet Millie, and you both decide to jump off a cliff. What a smart idea. Now, Millie's mask is broken, and she isn't responding to you. You are trying to get help in this nostalgic snowy climate where you are having to fight these snowballs. You can also find upgrades for your gun. After you fight these snowballs, you come across these crystal dog-like monsters that look straight out of Undertale, which this game came out a year before that one did, which is probably a coincidence how much they resemble the dog from the game. Now, after the snowy part, you will come across this guy who will tell you to meet you at the top of the castle. While you're going up there, you will see these two enemies, and they'll just shoot stuff at you, and one will move, the other one will just stay stagnant. And then you finally meet him, and he tells you that you are dead as hell, and that your friend Millie has already come to terms with it, but you aren't. Because, you two jumped off a cliff was a bad idea. But you refuse to go to heaven or hell, and you get into a boss fight. Yeah, you're basically having a boss fight with Death himself, the Grim Reaper. And you beat him, and he lets you live until another day, when you finally die from, hopefully, old age. I hope so. And Millie's back. And that's how it ends. And it was a bad day, according to them. And there's also another ending where if you leave Millie after you jump off the cliff, and you just go back home and take a nap. Now, unlike other games, which were played by massive YouTubers like, say, The Very Organized Thief and Social Interactive Simulator, this game was not. In fact, I was just trying to find older obscure games for my channel one day. Hell, you can still find the video it's in. Also, does anyone want me to bring back the series? Same goes with revisiting things from my childhood, like YouTubers, maps, and maybe Roblox games one day. And this game was meant to get a sequel called Tess and the Forgotten Friends. But just like the Nightblight sequel, it never came out. And the dev went on to work on a big game. My mic just cut out, sorry for that. But he went on work on a game called Oneshot, which has a huge cult following. Maybe I'll play it someday. Time to our next one. Nighttime Visitor was apparently released on November 3rd, 2015, a horror game made by Raincoil. Now, I say apparently because I could not find any sort of release date, and the oldest video I could find was from August 9th, 2016. Now, I remember this game being disturbing and terrifying within this game because of the monster and the phone call.
Hey man, this is Alex. Heard you're working late tonight. I was just calling to say that I'm coming to get ya.
Yes, that scared little old me. Just wait till you see the monster. Oh boy, it will scare you so much. So this game has an interesting idea, with you having a phone, and the monster, Alex, will call you to try to learn where you are. And since this place is basically a Minotaur's labyrinth, you can't really find a way out. and you can hear the ringing that can determine how close you are to him or how far away he is. He can also hear it too, and also you also have to have good service. Now I remember the design of him being terrifying, like disturbing little young me. It could rival Slender Man. It could rival Nemesis. It could rival the Amnesia Service Grunt, I think that's its name, and Pyramid Head. It was that disturbing. And this is what it looked like. Somehow in my mind, I thought he was a combination between the Amnesia Servant Grunt and the original Nemesis. Because I only remember seeing the shadow in Corey's video, not actually the monster when I was young, and remembering the phone call. Also, yeah, if you get caught by Alex in this game, then you will be transported to his pocket dimension. After getting through the maze, you will find an exit and leave. And that's how it ends. Also, there's apparently a guy who, if you knocked on his door, he'll curse you out. Yeah, it's short. There's not really much I can add. This game was made to be a proof of concept for a bigger game. Now, this bigger game has been in development hell for a while now. Here's some teasers for it they made. Also, the creator hasn't been active for a good while, unless you want to say this fandom account is his. Also, yeah, take this with a grain of salt, but apparently some guy claiming to be the developer is remaking the game, and that Alex will look different. And now, this game was played by the usual Markiplier, Corey, and even got a live-action adaptation by some kid.
Hi, who is this?
Hello? Hello? It's Alex. I just want to let you know that I'm coming to pick you up.
This is more accurate than most of the Resident Evil movies, by the way. Now, there's not really much to add besides the remake comes out hopefully soon. Or if it's fake, then unfortunately it won't. So, time for our next two. So, let me get this straight. He wanted to promote me, but instead he gave me this lousy role as a sunflower with some amateur cameraman. What a deal. Okay, I'll try my best to try to cover it, but I'm not doing the outro anymore because I've been, quote, promoted. So you all know about the famous artist. Well, I want you to guess what this game is called. Every year's Vincent. I want you to guess who it's based on. A. Vincent Van Gogh. B. Kurt Cobain. C. Walter White. Bum 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 bum. If you guessed X, Jeffrey Epstein. No, he wouldn't be correct. He didn't even exist around that time, I don't think. It's Vincent Van Gogh. You know, the famous guy who cut off his ear and gave it to a hooker. Also made some Starry Night painting. Now, this game was never finished, so here's what the story was. It takes place after Vincent left the asylum, and before he cut off his ear. The game begins with you getting a letter from your brother Theo. Then you go look at a wall and notice that your paintings are missing. Then you're tasked with trying to go look around for them. You find your first one and unlocks a door. You unlock the other one, and it unlocks this door, which leads to another painting. And it's a light. Yep, there's nothing more. You can turn on the light, but that's it. Not to mention the obvious. Now, this game was made with claymation, which is such a hard art form. It also reminds me of a game called Chef. Now, that also uses the stop-motion art style. I hate this script so much. Stop moving it, wobbin or bobbin. Yeah. And after all that, the guy who made it apparently only wanted me to do this because guess what? He found it at an art exam. That's all. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm hoping he reaches my budget to go up back where I was. Oh, hey, I'm finally back here. I hope you all missed this. This is where the part where I do the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, but they cut that out because those bastards replaced it with, quote, something better. So now I have to talk about this stupid little game called Nightlight. Now, this game was made by some guy named Chunk Work under 48 hours. It's about this little kid named Jesse. He wants to go to bed, but he decides not to use his nightlight and throws it out in the garage. But guess what? Scary things happen when you don't get a nightlight. And he has to go back and get the nightlight. And you'll see these arms. You see very scary arms. Guess what? Those arms disappear when you don't look at them. He goes outside, get his froggy nightlight, and guess what? That's it. Apparently the only reason why I'm covering this goddamn game was because it's, quote, nostalgic art style. I just want to be done with my job already. Oh, why are you all still following me? I thought I got my segment done with. Okay, seriously, why are y'all still following me? Is there one more thing? I'm not gonna do the do thing.
Like,
You haven't told him about the final one. Oh. You want me to do the final one? Okay, fine. No, our final one is Mr. TDM played it. The one, the only. Going nowhere. Hope you all enjoyed what my little friend covered over there. Go to hell, you too, darling. Now, this game right here, Going Nowhere, made by Stephen Haldeman in 2015. Now, this game is a platformer which begins with you in this town, and you find a giant hole there. And then you just need some fog and a giant guy with a giant cone on his head, and then this place would be basically Silent Hill.
In my restless dreams, I see that yet. Skippity toilet. You promised you'd phantom tax me there one day, but you never did. Well, I'm in Ohio now, in our special goon cave. Etching for you.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said, Quandale Dingle.
But after you see this big hole, you get into this house and talk to this lady. And she says, welcome to Going Nowhere. Yeah, that's what the town is called in the game. And she tells you to explore. After that, you meet this gal, which gives you some philosophical questions about this place. You also have to get her if you want a secret ending. Now, the parkour starts, and you see the gal in the green sweater again, and she talks about the hole. There was a hole there. It's gone now. Now, more climbing and parkour later. You come across the gal again, and you finally meet the girl from a while ago, and she tells you to stay away from the other girl. You meet the girl again, and she tells you that there is no death here. And after even more parkour, you see the gal again, and she tells you to
Wake up! Wake up!
Then, more parkour later, you meet her again, and she tells you that there might be a demented god forcing you to do this, like Loki or something. Then you meet the girl again, and she says how perfect this place is, blah blah blah. And I just realized that writing this game is like Mirror's Edge, but with pixel art. After even more hoops and quirls, you come across the gal again, and she says, what if you wanted to be here? Also, chat, hear me out. After that, golly, don't restart this video and take a shot every time I say after that. That would fucking kill you. You're at the end, and talk to the girls, and one says you can finally leave, and the other girl gives some philosophical answers about the place, and how there's apparently a new road, and you drive off in the sunset. Now, apparently this game is about moving on and trying not to hold on to the past. Uh-oh. Thanks to some guy named Coconut Person in the comments for that, by the way, of the Let's Play I've used. And now that's the game. Now, the game was only played by one big YouTuber, and that was Dan TDM, and some smaller ones too. You know, I always found it weird that this game, it was probably some game he found one day, and never got as big as, say, the other games he played. Now, there was a sequel, but look how much it cost. Way too much! Also, for people who don't live in the US, here's how much it cost. I will go bankrupt. Oh. Editing QV again. Yeah, I searched up what he does now, and I want you all to guess what games he's been working on. If you all guess Borderlands 3, you would be right. Yeah, this guy went on from making Going Nowhere to Borderlands 3. Alright, time to go back to the original recording. But, okay, let's, in all seriousness, there's something about all these that make them unique. I don't know how to describe them well. Going Nowhere, Very Organized Thief, Night Bites, if you want to talk about that video, has a low poly art style, or mixing pixel art with 3D. Or other games like Every Year's Vincent and Nightlight had early 2000 anime aesthetic and just claymation style. And they all remind me of different eras, like Social Interaction was definitely 2016 when everyone was playing it. Very Organized Thief was 2013. Going Nowhere reminds me of it too. Tess reminds me of Forgotten Era of Game Boy independent games before Undertale. Well, you know, those old 8-bit RPG games. Nighttime Visitor and Toybox remind me when all 76% of indie horrors weren't just Fnaf and Poppy Playtime ripoffs. All these remind me of watching them all on computer games. when I was a kid. Now, I may cover more games, hell, suggest some if you want, but I think that's all. Thank you all for watching, and have a good day.